The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, the plantation industry expresses strong objections to the government's decision to increase the minimum wages for sector workers. Sri Lanka to run out of accommodation for high-end tourists. The Tourism Promotion Bureau boosting a master plan to attract more tourists. The stock market starts another week in the red, marking the third consecutive week to begin on a negative trend. And Tesla excludes its significant target of delivering 20 million vehicles annually by 2030 from its latest impact report.
From Studio 24, here's Sanuvi Mudanayaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. At a press briefing today, the plantation industry raised its objections to the government's decision to drastically hike minimum wages for tea and rubber sector workers by an unprecedented 70%.
All producer stakeholders issued a unified warning against the devastating impact and the latest increase will have on the plantation sector, leading crippling operational challenges, ultimately leading to severe economic instability for the nation. The Planters Association stated that this decision was made without proper consultation or consideration of needs of all industry stakeholders, and in particular, it fails to provide any consideration and threatens to cripple every segment of the Sri Lankan tea and rubber industry. Moreover, they added that as a result of the decision, the cost of production for tea and rubber is set to rise dramatically, with estimates indicating a minimum 45% increase in the cost per kilogram of tea, and this surge in operational cost will render Sri Lanka's tea and rubber industries uncompetitive in the global market, further exacerbating the financial strain on these sectors. The spokesperson of the Ceylon Planters Association, Roshan Rajadure, commented that them as a management does not like to be held accountable for the decisions taken without their consultation.
We have to look after our interest. We don't want to be held accountable. We as management don't want to be held accountable for decisions that we don't take. Now glyphosate ban, we as a tea industry went on media, went on TV and we informed. Fertilizer ban. So the government can't hold us accountable for any consequences. That's what we are trying to tell. If we put up our hand and say yes, we agree and we support this, then you can hold us accountable. When it is forced on us, when it is sort of compelled on us, how can you hold us accountable? We have to manage with what we earn. That is what we have been telling. If we earn a lot, because people must think that we are not incompetent or foolish. We know how to manage. No one can manage more than what they can earn. We have managed for 30 years.
The chief of Sri Lanka's Committee on Public Finances, Harsh De Silva, said that they will expose the truth behind the controversial VFS Global visa deal. After skipping the previously scheduled meeting, De Silva said that officials of the Department of Immigration and Ministry of Public Security have declined to attend the meeting called tomorrow. The next meeting is scheduled for the 4th of June. De Silva said in a post on X that they've uncovered many details and will release everything after the final meeting, and that COPF is committed to exposing the truth behind the controversial GBS-IVS tender. The VFS visa deal has led to the scrapping of an easy-to-use online visa system run by Sri Lanka's Mobile for $1 and its replacement by a complex VFS Global website which is charging up to $25 for some visas. Sri Lanka's cabinet has also lost the ability to issue free visas, and there have been charges that free visas are charged $11 by VFS Global. According to a notice, Sri Lanka's tax agency will collect current account transactions, share ownership, land registration, company directorship and car ownership details from the 1st of July to be used in a digital revenue management system.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitiya said that the information will not be used to collect tax retrospectively. The minister said that the gazette requiring the information to submit it online to the Department of Inland Revenue was issued on March 2024 and its implementation noted was issued on the 21st of May. According to the gazette, ownership and transfer of shares, current account balances and loans had to be provided quarterly by the stock exchange and banks and non-bank financial institutions. Car registrations, land ownership and transfers should be provided real time. Information on leases and consultancy and contracts will also have to be provided. Minister Siyambalapitiya further said that Sri Lanka has to collect more direct tax after the country's revenue fell to very low levels.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Priyantha Fernando, said that Sri Lanka may run out of hotel rooms for high-spending tourists by the end of 2025.
On the sidelines of Sancharaka Udava, a tourism fair, he stated that if the trend continues by the end of next year, there will be short of rooms. The high-end hotels, which are charging over $250 to $300 per night, has been having very high occupancy at a very high rates. He said that we will have to match the product with the expectations of the people, because at the moment it's about 10,500 rooms which we offered for high-end tourists island-wide. Hotel chains like Cinnamon began new ventures such as Eco Excursion. ITC, a new high-end recently opened in Colombo, and Cinnamon Life is expected to open later in the year. In order to target high-spending tourists, the Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau announced in January the start of ₹1.5 billion promotional campaign in 11 key markets including China, Russia, UK and Germany. The chairman of the Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau, Chalaka Gajabahu, said at Sancharaka Udava that Sri Lanka plans to attract 2.3 million tourists, which may go up to 2.5 million under a master plan.
Industry data shows that Sri Lanka's tea production fell 14.95% in April 2024 from a year ago to 21.46 million kilograms, led by high groans.
Dry weather and heat in March had reduced the crop intake. A tea industry official said that there was hardly any rain in tree-growing areas in March, which affects the crop. After the rains from later April, an improvement in the crop is being observed this month. High-grown tea production fell from 6.49 million kilograms to 4.58 million kilograms, according to data published by the Ceylon Tea Brokers, which is a Colombo-based commodities brokerage. Medium growns fell from 4.51 to 3.55 million kilograms, and low growns fell from 13.32 from 14.92 million kilograms. Tea production for the first 4 months were down by 6.2% to 79.7 million kilograms, with growth seen up to the first quarter.
Let's move on to a short commercial break now. Updates from the Colombo stock market coming right away. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. Starting the week on a negative trajectory, the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded lows at the end of today's trading session. Both the All Share Price Index and the S&P SL20 Index recorded lows, kicking off the week in the red. To get an insight on today's stock market behavior, let's go to Rishita Pereira from SC Securities.
Yes, following an extended holiday, the indices got off to a slow start, where the All Share Price Index closed at 12,311 points, recording a drop of 37 points. The S&P SL20 Index closed at 3,652 points, a drop of 14 points from the previous trading session. Turnover declined substantially from previous sessions, recording a modest 494.35 million and a shares traded volume of 50.11 million. Top gainers of the day were Lanka Ventures Energy Fund REITs, SMB Finance Non-Voting, Agstar Non-Voting and SMB Finance Voting. Top losers were Ceylon Printers, Renuka Holdings, East West Properties, Macwoods Energy and Amana Takaful. There were no crossing transactions recorded for the day.
Well, how would the stock market behave throughout the next few days of the week? To get an outlook, let's connect Dimantha Matthew joining us from First Capital Holdings.
So looking at the upcoming week, we feel that the market is likely to be a bit slow and volatile, simply because we are seeing a bit of concern on the investor side, primarily coming out of the delays that is taking place. So we are seeing a delay in the external debt restructuring that is to happen, and also a delay in the agreements that the government needs to sign with the official credit committee. And with these delays, there is also a delay that is happening for the IMF third tranche and the second review. So the government has to get the board approval of the IMF in order to get the next tranche, and these are priority conditions that the government has to meet in order to obtain that tranche. So with those things getting delayed, we saw this happening for the second tranche as well, and with it we are seeing the investors a bit nervous, and there seems to be a bit of slowness in the market. Because of that, buying interest slightly drying out, and with it we feel that the upcoming week might have slightly comparatively lower turnover, and there could be a bit of selling pressure as well. So overall, slow market conditions is likely to prevail during the upcoming week.
Gold prices rose slightly in Asian trade today, recouping some of last week's losses as traders remain cautious towards metal markets ahead of a key US inflation reading this week. Spot gold rose 0.4% to $2,343.23 an ounce, while gold futures expiring in June rose 0.4% to $2,344.10 an ounce. Broader trading volumes were also subdued on account of the market holidays in the UK and the US, while anticipation more cues on US interest rates also deterred big bets. Among industrial metals, copper prices also rose, recovering after a tumble from record highs last week. Spot prices were also nursing a tumble from record highs. Focus this week was squarely on PCE price index data, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge. The reading is due on Friday. Oil prices also rose slightly today, recovering modestly from steep losses last week as traders are awaiting further cues on US inflation and upcoming meeting of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. However, trading volumes are expected to be limited due to market holidays in the US and the UK. Brent oil futures for July delivery gained 0.1% to $82.22 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 0.2% to $77.85 per barrel. Both oil contracts were down over 2% last week after falling to February lows. This was driven by fears of persistently high interest rates, which raised concerns about future demand. Oil will also focus on the US PCE price index data. The Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated slightly against the US dollar at commercial banks in Sri Lanka today compared to last week. According to the People's Bank, the buying and selling rates of the US dollar have increased from 294.24 rupees to 294.59 rupees and from 304.20 rupees to 304.56 rupees respectively. At Commercial Bank, the buying and selling rates of the US dollar have increased from 293.33 rupees to 293.58 rupees and from 303.50 rupees to 303.75 rupees respectively. Now, let's have a look on how the rupee performed against other major global currencies. Let's take a short break. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. In an attempt to address the unique financial needs of freelancers, DFCC Bank has introduced the DFCC Freelancer World, a MasterCard credit card creating a convenient transaction process for freelancers. DFCC Freelancer is a financial solution uniquely designed to cater specifically to the dynamic needs of Sri Lanka's growing freelancer community. The new card offers 2% cashback on foreign currency transactions, providing freelancers a competitive edge in the global market. A 1% cashback is also offered on all other transactions, making this credit card a rewarding choice for day-to-day expenses. A distinguished feature of DFCC Bank credit cards is that the cashback they offer can be easily redeemed and credited directly into any DFCC bank account as cash, resulting in real and tangible savings. Understanding the unique needs of freelancers, the card also provides interest-free EMI plans, easing the burden of large expenditures and empowering freelancers to manage their finances effectively. The DFCC Freelance World Mastercard credit card is also globally accepted, providing convenience for freelancers working across borders. Sri Lanka's Hayleys Group company Unisys Engineering plc, which announced it would be delisting from the Colombo Stock Exchange last month, has submitted an offer letter to shareholders to buy back shares at ₹6 per share. The Hayleys Group said in a stock exchange filing that the exit offer of Sri Lankan rupees 6 per share made by Advantage Projects Engineering Private Limited, who is the majority shareholder to the rest of the shareholders of Unisys Engineering plc, which is the company who may wish to sell their shares in the company. Hayleys said that the acceptance of the exit offer will commence at 9 a.m. on the 28th of May 2024 and close at 1:30 p.m. on the 26th of June 2024. Formerly Alufab plc, Unisys Engineering is an aluminium supplier in Sri Lanka. The company's revenue increased by 38% to 784 million rupees during the last financial year, according to its annual report, which also said Unisys Engineering plc will continue to leverage the strengths of its partnership with Hayleys Advantage as it seeks to drive increased penetration in selected customer segments. The company would focus on residential projects, developing standard products to the market locally and for exports. Performance is also expected to be driven by the materialization of several medium to large-scale projects for which the company has already submitted bids. A significant milestone was achieved in Sri Lanka's sustainable energy landscape and the David Pierce Group with the inauguration of the new head office of the David Pierce Renewable Energy Limited. Strategically situated at the New Parliament Road, Palawatha Battaramulla, the new office was opened by David Pierce Group Chairman and Managing Director Rohana Disanayaka, along with the Board of Directors of David Pierce Renewable Energy and Directors of Group Companies. The David Pierce Renewable Energy Director Nalaka Madugalla stated that the inauguration of their new office symbolizes the next chapter in our journey in the green energy space. David Pierce Renewable Energy Limited currently offer off-grid hybrid and on-grid roof-mounted solar solutions for both domestic and corporate customers. AIA Group Limited announced today the opening of its redeveloped group headquarters at 1 Stubbs Road, Wang Chai in Hong Kong. The AIA building is Hong Kong's first urban campus and is wholly owned, operated and solely occupied by AIA.
AIA Group Chairman, AIA Group Chief Executive and President, and the Honourable Michael Wong, Acting Financial Secretary of the Government of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, delivered remarks at the opening ceremony earlier today. The AIA building will be home to around 1,800 employees at full capacity. The 22-floor campus features an indoor running track, a continuous 80-meter atrium staircase, fully equipped gym facilities and multi-purpose sports hall. Environmental, social and governance considerations were core to the redevelopment of the building, which has obtained leading green building credentials including platinum ratings across LEED, WELL and BEAM+ pre-certifications. Sustainability features include 80 electric vehicle chargers, rooftop solar panels and biodiesel generators with self-sustaining power supply.
A short commercial break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Shares advanced in Europe and Asia ahead of today's Memorial Day holiday in the United States. Tokyo's Nikkei 225 added 0.7% to 38,900.02 and the KOSPI in Seoul jumped 1.2% to 2,722.99. Australia's S&P ASX 200 surged 0.8% to 2,788.30. The Shanghai Composite Index gained 0.8% to 3,124.24 as the government reported corporate profits rose 4.3% year-on-year in January through April. Hong Kong's Hang Seng reversed early losses, gaining 1.2% to 18,827.35. In Taiwan and South Korea, heavy buying of computer chip-related shares pushed benchmarks higher. Tesla excluded its significant target of delivering 20 million vehicles annually by 2030 from its latest impact report. This omission indicates that the company is shifting its focus from electric cars to robo-taxis.
Tesla left out a major goal of delivering 20 million vehicles a year by 2030 from its latest impact report Thursday. It's a sign the company is moving away from electric cars and shifting focus to robo-taxis. CEO Elon Musk said 4 years ago Tesla aspired to sell 20 million vehicles by the end of the current decade. This was reiterated in impact reports released in both 2021 and 2022, but the company changed direction recently. It dropped plans to produce an all-new model expected to cost $25,000. And it's promoted autonomous driving tech as its main source of growth. Tesla plans to host a launch event for its robo-taxi in August. Musk said Thursday robo-taxis and the company's humanoid robot Optimus will be incredibly profound for Tesla. He declined to answer a question on the timeline for Tesla's low-cost cars at the event. In further news Friday, data has shown the automaker cut output of its best-selling Model Y electric car by a double-digit percentage number at its Shanghai plant since March. The move aims to address weakening demand for the model in China, where EV makers are engaged in a brutal price war. The Shanghai plant is Tesla's biggest manufacturing hub globally. A source said it planned to cut Model Y output by at least 20% during the March to June period. It was not immediately clear if the output cut would be extended to the second half of this year. Tesla did not respond to requests for comment.
Well, that is it from us today at the Nightly Business Report. We'll see you again tomorrow with more updates. Until then, I'm Sonia Mudanayaka. Have a good night.